His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa chaired the weekly cabinet meeting at Gdaybiya Palace. The cabinet commended the address delivered by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa during His Majesty's chairing of the weekly cabinet meeting last week. The cabinet affirmed that the royal directives and national priorities outlined in the address serves as a framework to further strengthen the kingdom's security and stability and to continue to build on its achievements. The cabinet noted that all government entities will continue to deliver on their responsibilities through implementing the royal directives. During the meeting, the cabinet condemned the renewed hostile Iranian aggression against Bahrain and Kuwait, urging Iran to immediately halt hostilities, reopen the Strait of Hormuz fully and without restrictions, respect freedom of maritime navigation under international law, and comply with the Security Council resolutions. The cabinet reiterated its support for efforts aimed at preventing escalation, protecting civilians and critical facilities, and upholding regional and international peace and security. The cabinet praised the Bahrain Defense Force, the National Guard, the Ministry of Interior, and the military security and civil authorities for their preparedness in effectively addressing developments. The cabinet welcomed the outcomes of the annual meeting between the Minister of Interior and heads and officials of matams across the kingdom's governorates, which underscored the importance of enhancing public safety and preserving the long-standing Bahraini observance of the Ashura season. The meeting reflected community awareness, national responsibility, and adherence to law and regulations to ensure participants' safety and security. The cabinet congratulated students across all educational stages for the 2025 to 2026 academic year, recognized parents for their role in supporting their children's educational journey, and commended the educational and administrative staff of the Ministry of Education for their dedication and professionalism. The cabinet welcomed the announcement by Aluminum Bahrain Alba, American industrial partner, and BPI France, the French Public Investment Bank, in relation to Alba's acquisition of Aluminum Dunkirk, the largest aluminum smelter in the EU. In this regard, the cabinet praised the efforts of Mumtalakat Holding Company for enhancing its investments. The cabinet then also reviewed several memoranda submitted by the ministerial committees and ministers and approved the following: Bahrain's contribution and participation across international organizations, a draft agreement on mutual assistance and cooperation in customs matters between the government of Bahrain and the government of the UK, a draft resolution amending certain provisions of the executive regulations of the municipalities law, a third voluntary national review on the progress made by Bahrain in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the government's response to several proposals submitted by the Representatives Council. The cabinet also reviewed the following: the draft agenda of the 167th session of the Ministerial Council of the GCC, progress on the Ministry of Youth Affairs priority projects under the Government Programme 2023 to 2026. Finally, the cabinet reviewed the following reports: the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the Choose France Summit, the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the International Meeting on Food Supply Chains and Reducing Post-Harvest Losses, the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the Island States Ocean Summit, the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the high-level international conference on the International Decade for Action, Water for Sustainable Development, 2018 to 2028, the outcomes of the conclusion of the second semester of the 2025 to 2026 academic year, the external engagements of ministers, as well as visits undertaken by ministers of various countries to Bahrain in June 2026.